Everybody. So we were first introduced to Canadian actor Kathleen Robertson when she starred as the vivacious Claire Arnold on the original Beverly Hills 90210.
However, her career has continued to transform, and now she's added writer, producer, and showrunner to her expanding resume. Welcome to the show, Kathleen.
Hi, guys.
Hi. We love it that you're back in Ontario. You know, we always love having our own on the show, so welcome back.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. This is my first sort of live on-air post-COVID interview, so it's interesting. It's trippy.
Great. And what a project. You've got Swimming with Sharks. It's going to be premiering on April the 15th, so obviously you can't give any spoilers, but give us what you can about what we can expect from the show.
Do something beyond dog walking and
So this was something for me that was very personal. I started acting when I was 10, and over the years kind of took little stories and images and moments of my life as an actor and sort of infused them into this piece. So it's very aggressive and shocking and daring, and it definitely kind of goes there. So yeah, I'm equal parts excited and terrified for people to see.
So the show is actually a remake of George Wong's 1994 film that starred Kevin Spacey and Benicio del Toro. You've given it an interesting twist for 2022. Can you tell us a little bit of why you chose it and specifically this angle?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was a huge fan of the original movie, and I think for everybody in our industry, that movie, Swimming with Sharks, was kind of iconic, and it was very much sort of the benchmark in terms of movies that kind of got it right about how complicated and dark it is to work in this industry. And so for me, sort of subverting that and turning it into a female story and really kind of showing it through the eyes of these two women, one being Kiernan Shipka, who is a 21-year-old, brand new to the business, and Diane Kruger's character, who is, mid-40s and has sort of had to build her way up through the boys club. It was just like a really sort of, to me, it just felt like such an exciting, interesting sandbox to play in. And I felt like given my history and spending so many years in this industry, I felt like I sort of had something to say about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you are really, really busy on this project because in addition to acting in this dark thriller, you also created, produced, and then were a showrunner on Swimming with Sharks. This is a lot of hats to wear, Kathleen, just saying. But what was that balance like to be both working on screen and then behind the camera, sometimes simultaneously?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, this is my first thing that I've showrun, that I'm putting out into the universe. I have many friends who are showrunners who essentially, said to me, why would you ever want to do this? It's so much work. Just stick to being an actor. My husband, Chris Coles, who's the producer of this project, always has said to me, are you sure this is something you want to do? And I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. So it's incredible. I mean, it's really, there's nothing quite like watching Donald Sutherland say the words that you wrote in your sweatpants in your office at 2:00 in the morning, like there's a hit that you get off of it creatively that that doesn't quite match what it is to be an actor, where you're just saying somebody else's words, standing on those parts. And I think I'm addicted, and I'm in. Seems like it's what I'm meant to be doing. So
I love that. I want to unpack that a little bit more because, as you just mentioned, it's your first time show running, and you have this show and this cast. So that's Diane Kruger, Kiernan Shipka, and the aforementioned Donald Sutherland. No big deal, no pressure for your first time. So what was your experience like being essentially the boss of these people? And yes, they're saying your lines, but, they are also your peers.
Yeah, it was definitely surreal. And, I always still identify as a girl from the East Mountain of Hamilton. So working with Donald and having the experience there was definitely sort of a surreal component of it for me. But, you have to just kind of go, all right, I'm having that moment. That moment's gone. Now I have to be the boss. And so it was incredible. It was really, really, Donald in particular was somebody who, when I wrote this, I kind of envisioned him as this, as this character. And I sort of thought he would be my dream to play this role. And he showed up on day one and was just like, we need to find the glasses. We need to find what are Redmond's glasses. And he was so just like in it. And from day one, just kind of such a joy creatively to work with. So yeah, it was just, because I've been an actor, I think my whole life, like that component of it for me is very effortless and is very easy. So, yeah, it was pretty mind blowing.
A lot of people watching know you from a show that we were all obsessed with from a certain generation. That would be Beverly Hills 90210. 25 years later, of course, people still recognize you from this role in the 90s. There are some actors. There you are.
Look at you, baby Kathleen.
There you are.
Wow, look at that.
I know, right?
I'm definitely going for it there. I remember that trip. That was Miami. I was with my best friend, Allison.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Colonna was the dress. I remember it all.
There are some actors who are, when they're associated with something that's so beloved, but from a long time ago and earlier in their career, they don't want to they don't want to talk about it anymore. They want to get away from that. Is that the same with you, or are you down to 90210 always, all the time?
It's very interesting. It's been a total journey for me. If you had been talking to me 15 years ago, I would not have wanted to talk about it. But now I've kind of come full circle, and I actually now really understand why people want to talk about it. I understand that, there are very few shows and very few projects that we work on that connect in the way that show did. And that show to this day is still something that people love, are fascinated by. And so I'm totally like, I'm cool with it now. I'm like, sure, let's talk about it now. But I definitely felt like I had to sort of find a way to get to a place where I was like, oh yeah, like you're interested in talking about that, but I also have all these other things to talk about as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've made peace with that for sure. Hey, listen, Kathleen, this has been a real pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
And you can stream all 6 episodes of Swimming with Sharks on the Roku channel right now.